this is Nathalie Kalbach, and I'm here with Martice Smith for Creative Jumpstart 2021. I'm super, super excited to have Martice here for the 10th anniversary of Creative Jumpstart. She is a wonderful artist. I'm so excited that I discovered her. Mm-hmm. Well, it wasn't like I'm the big discovery. like amongst many people, we finally got to see her beautiful artwork, thanks to Rachel. And we can talk about that maybe later. But if you haven't been Pass the Brush, you should definitely Google the hashtag on Instagram. And Martice is a great painter. She's in Missouri. I just said that I have no idea. I've never been there. I should go there. She's a teacher, an educator. She creates stencils. She does blog posts for Stencil Girl products as well as jelly arts. So that means she's also a jelly, a mono printer, let's put it that way. So I'm so excited to have you. Welcome.
Thank you so much. I'm excited to be here.
So Martice, tell us a little bit about how long are you doing mixed media art? Is this something that you have been doing all your life, or you changed your career? How did you get to it?
Well, I like to say that I was born an artist. Art is in the middle of my name, so it's who I am, and it's part of my everyday lifestyle. And the earliest memory I have of creating is around age 4 years old. And it's funny too, because my mom, she's a pastor now, but back then we used to go to church all the time, and she would let me and my brother draw in the back of her Bible. And I'm a big cartoon fan, so you can see my Superfly Mario shirt. I love Mario, and I also love the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So, as kids, we're in church, and church is lasting 40 hours, and she's trying to keep us calm, and she let us draw in the back of her Bible. And I actually want to show you a little piece of that. I have her Bible right here.
Oh, wow.
It's way older than me.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm surprised the pages haven't turned to powder by now. But in the very back where the maps are, me and my brother drew Leonardo and Raphael. See? I mean, look at the detail on that.
That is amazing.
For a 3-year-old, that's crazy.
Know.
So yeah, I've been drawing ever since I can remember, and in high school I was in art classes, and I didn't want anything else to do besides art. Oh, and gymnastics. I'm a tomboy at heart, so I'm always flipping and doing cartwheels. And, that's my approach to art. It's just being playful. You don't have to be so serious all the time. Like, you can be serious, with your craft, but just allow that play spirit to come through your work.
Yeah, that is a big part of your philosophy, actually. I wanted to ask you about that. You always talk about the importance of play when it comes to practicing art. So what advice do you have for students that struggle a little bit with, letting loose? We all know.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Like, I've had that problem too. Okay. So I think it's just like a universal problem. I would tell people, you got to get out of your head. That's the main thing. Don't take it so, personal or serious. Do something that you enjoy. Like, you got to turn off the distractions. Like, stop looking at social media. Stop looking at what everybody else is doing, and say, what is it that I enjoy? What makes me smile? Is it going outside for a walk in the park, going hiking, whatever it is, do that first and then come back to the studio and work.
Yeah, that's true. And so when you do your classes and you might have someone in the class that has a hard time,
Mhm.
do you have like exercises with them or you just like tell a joke or all of it?
Yeah, all of it. It's like you pulling straws because I like getting to know the person. And, I have to try different approaches, to see which one clicks,
Right.
and I can always tell when it clicks because it's like the physical transformation, like they've been enlightened and their whole demeanor just changes. And I'm like, uh-huh. So you like my corny jokes, right? So I'll just tell more jokes,
Right.
you know? Or if a person is like really serious and they want to just get everything right to a T, I'm like, okay, we need to chill out. What's your favorite song? and I and I tell them put it on, let the music, get into you. Just let it flow. And sometimes you just have to get up and start moving. Like I
Yeah.
love hula hooping.
It's so funny.
So whenever I feel like really anxious or I feel the pressure to create a masterpiece, or something that like sometimes I have to create, a product that I'm wanting to sell in the future, and that puts a lot of pressure on me.
Mm.
So I have to get into a space where I'm more comfortable and like it's playful. So I have a playlist of songs, to get me in the mood, and I dance around the studio or get my hula hoop or my tambourine because I play a mean tambourine.
Oh my god, I play a mean tambourine is probably my
Yeah.
most favorite phrase forever now.
Look, I grew up in church, so and my mother is a musician. She's a
Yeah.
percussionist. So she had the congos, the drums, xylophone, tambourines, all of it. So
I
I'll
love
tell
it.
you,
I think
it's
that's very
fun.
important what you said, which comes down to creating ritual habits and
Mhm.
when you feel like how do I approach painting, or there's a reason why a lot of artists actually do rituals like to get in the mood before they
Mhm.
start painting. Like some people write something in their journal in the morning. Some people, I drink like 2 cups of coffee and have the cats on my lap and just like,
Oh.
daydream a little bit or something like
Mhm.
that. So I think like that's a good point. Like, create something, like create a ritual with something that you really enjoy, whether it be
Yeah,
playing a mean tambourine
absolutely.
or, hula hooping.
Yeah, I actually have a video on my Instagram account because, I was in a headspace like, I'm thinking way too much on this project, and I'm at a point where I can tell when I look at my work, like, it looks forced, it's not free, it's not loose. And I said, you know what? I'm going to do something way outside of my comfort zone. And I recorded myself hula hooping, just having fun in the studio. And I posted it on my Instagram. And it was like, it made people laugh so hard.
Yeah,
And I sped it up. So it was hilarious. Like I'm hula hooping, going crazy.
I have to find this now. Oh my god, that sounds awesome.
Yeah.
So every
So
time you're like, if you can't hula hoop, you have to watch her hula hoop. So,
yeah.
so your colors or your color palette is very bright and bold. Um, what do these color choices mean to you?
It means freedom and happiness. Well, actually, more so joy, because joy can't be taken away. Happiness, it can be temporary, but the joy I have on the inside of me, I want that to show up in my work. And actually, everything that I do has bright colors. Like, I do like neutral, but I don't know. I just gravitate towards the full rainbow spectrum.
Yeah,
So
I
to me,
agree that you need neutrals to kind of like have the brighter colors be brighter, like they're there.
uh-huh.
But yeah, I tend to love the bright colors more too. It just makes me happy to look at that. What's your favorite medium to paint with?
Hmm. I work a lot with acrylic paints. Yeah. I have acrylic paint markers. There's even some sprays now that I use. I'm still kind of new at that, because it's like really spontaneous, and I don't know how to control it. Because it gets everywhere, the ink sprays and stuff. Yeah, I'm like, whoa! I spray a little bit. Well, actually, no. My little bit is like, because I love to see that color.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
it's
yeah.
that's actually a nice analogy to say, like when you spray paint, like the force with how the color comes out there is I love it, and it's really hard to contain yourself to not
Yeah.
overspray because you're like, oh my god, this is so cool. I want more of this.
Yeah. So I really love acrylic paints, and I also love to add collage elements to acrylic. And I use so many layers in my work. Like, it kind of meshes all together, and it looks like a completely different
Mm.
thing. You can't tell where it starts, and sometimes you can't even tell where it ends. So I
That
love
is my
I love
favorite, right?
meshing different supplies together.
Yeah. I think that's the most, like for me, the most intriguing part of your work, and also when you see other people's work with a lot of layers, where you want to be like, I don't know, what was first there? Like, how did she do that?
Mhm.
It's not so much about the how did you do that, but like you're kind of like, you get into the work, like looking at it, and you're like, I don't know, is this behind or is it on top? Like,
Mhm.
I love that. It's very cool.
Yeah.
So, Matisse, for Creative Jumpstart 2021, I chose the theme of storyteller because I believe that stories are our connective tissue, and
Mhm.
that this is how we connect and how we get to know each other. You can relate to stories, etc. Do you feel like you're a big storyteller in your work?
You know what? I think so. Because like I said, I have a lot of layers in my art, and each layer represents something. And I like to call it a gumbo layering, because we got the background layer. The very first layer that I put down, like if I'm working on canvas or paper, is my intention.
Mm.
Like, I infuse my work, that background layer, with my intention. So yeah. um
Is
Sorry, I
that
lost
your
my train of
is
thought.
that your most important layer? Actually, the most
Yeah, yeah, it actually
yeah,
is. Yeah, because it sets the tone for what the next layer should be,
right.
and yeah, I put a lot of energy into that first layer.
I love that. And it's funny that you say that because I had an interview just like a couple minutes ago with Seth Apter, and we were talking about the first layer and the importance of it, and that sometimes that's so hard for students to realize that because you're like most of it might be covered up, right? So why are you
Mhm,
putting so much effort? Why is it important what kind of color is in there or whatever? But I think
mhm.
you just brought it down. It's the intention that you put on there with that first layer. You
Yeah.
make a like a real choice with your intention, and that's why the first layer is so important and informs like all the other layers.
It sure
Cool.
does.
So, Martice, I asked you and all the other artists in the interview if you could gather something that you have that you love to have around when you create and that's important to you, and maybe tell a story. Do you have something for me?
Well, I showed you in the beginning.
Ah, so you have that in your creative space.
Yeah, my mom, she actually let me hold on to her Bible.
Oh,
Yeah. And I have it up on my shelf. I keep it on my shelf so I can look at it and actually look through it for my favorite scriptures and just for that encouragement. And
yeah.
I also, you know, besides the Bible, I also like to keep props
Love that.
like this. I love props, and I could just glance at it. And this is so special to me because when I look at it, it tells me to love myself, you know, give myself a hug, show myself more grace.
That is a wonderful message. And I think there's, I don't know how to describe it, but there's so much joy in you. Like it
Oh,
feels that you actually hugged us, So it's wonderful. I'm so excited. I can't wait for your video. Do you have already like we are recording this so far ahead of time when you actually as a viewer can see it. It's still summer, so she still has time to turn around her video a couple of weeks. Do you have an idea though? Can you hint something already, or are you still like, not gonna tell you, don't know?
you gotta tune in. You trying to get me to spill my beans? No way. No, but I can say that it's going to be fun. Of course, it's going to be a lot of color. So, that would be really weird if I showed up. If I showed up with a project that's like, okay, we're going to work in monochrome color palette today.
I would be like, Martice, is that you?
Right. Like, if it's not the rainbow spectrum, is it really a Martice Smith?
No, probably not. I will be like, who did your homework?
Yeah, right. And I'll be like my twin brother.
You do have a twin brother?
Yeah, I have a twin brother.
Oh, your brother who drew with you in the Bible, he's the same.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so fun. What is he? Is he an artist too, or?
Yeah, he is. He does music though.
Get out.
Yeah, he's a musician.
That is so cool.
I love your expression, by the way.
It's kind of like you were early on. You kind of like had these, I mean, I think it is when you are around, like as a child, like you have some influences, and that really makes an impression on you, right? I was talking to Marsha Falk, and she told me this story that as a child, she went to this printmaking thing, and she made some prints. It was like a cultural place, like a culture house or something, and they made like some prints. And and she was ever since enthralled at it. My mother had a friend who was a graphic designer, and she would always craft and do like funny stuff with my mom too. And they would make like sourdough. I don't know. That's probably that will date me, but at a time there were these like sourdough figures that people would make, or little like the bathroom, and then it was like a plague, and she made like a little bathtub and this little person in the bathtub and like some bubbles, and it was all sourdough, and we had it on our bathroom door, right? So I think that influences you as a child, and so you guys being around people singing and making music in the church, right, and gathering, that probably like was a huge impact, right?
Yeah, it was definitely a huge impact. And then the fact that, like I said, my mom, she's a musician. She's a, I get a lot of my inspiration from her, like in terms of the different creative outlets that I explore, because she's a musician, she's an interior decorator. Um, let's see what else. She does a whole bunch of other stuff, and she's a teacher as well.
Oh wow.
And I get it. I draw inspiration from my grandmother too. She's no longer with us, but yeah, she was a master gardener, and so I brought that into my work. And long before I started collecting houseplants like what I have here, I have way more than this, by the way. I have like close to 100 plants. But yeah, my grandmother was a master gardener, and I grew up watching her. Like, she had wildflower seeds in her pocket, and she would just throw them out into the garden.
Oh,
And it was just such a magical moment, just to see her do her thing in her element, you know. And she was also a seamstress,
mm.
and I love sewing, so I picked that up from her. And I made clutches. I made my own clothes in college. I made my own baby doll clothes. So yeah, just being encouraged. Like, when you see a child, you want to expose them to all these different creative outlets. They might they may not like all of them, but just to get that opportunity to know what's out there. They people need that kind of exposure.
Yeah, and I
So
think it's interesting too that as we get older, there's something where you maybe can think about that more as like what a wonderful time that is that you spend with your with other women in your in your family. Like my
mhm,
my grand aunt would show me all kinds of stuff as well, right? Like you had this time with them together, and what they gave you is something that is so beautiful. Not only the memory of being with them and doing that, but also
mhm.
this like the craft for doing. I mean, there is
Right.
no art without craft. So
Mhm.
if people are sometimes snobby about craft, I'm like, well, you got to do the craft before you can do the art. And so they gave you that, and that's what I think. There's also that part of your story goes into your artwork because
Mhm.
you're kind of like from generation to generation, right? When that is passed on, that's a part of your story, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really is. And I'm a documenter as well. So I love capturing those stories, those memories, and just jotting it down. And actually, in my art journals, I do a lot of that. I print out old pictures, and I create these illustrations, and I fuse my art with the like black and white photographs.
Hmm.
Yeah, and it's just so beautiful how that translate into something physical. We take a memory, and then we express ourselves through that, and
Yeah,
then it just manifests into something totally different.
exactly. I love that. So, Martise, where can people find you when not like physical, like Steph was like, you want my address? I mean, online.
Right. You want my home address or my PO box? Because I love Happy Meal, so maybe I could throw that in there. You can find me on my website at marticesmithart.com. And yeah, be sure to sign up for my newsletter. I love sending out emails. Like, I'll just say that up front. I love getting to know my people, the people that sign up to get my emails from me. And you can also find me on Facebook and Instagram at Martice Smith Art. Mhm.
Yeah, follow her. You're in for a treat. I'm also super excited for the video that you will see. It's going to be awesome. So sign up when you see this for Creative Jumpstart 2021. If you see it on Marti's social media, then make sure when you sign up to use the link that she posts. because that's an affiliate link and that will give her a bigger bigger pie. Well, it's a piece of the pie, right?
A piece of the pie, yeah.
Right. And we
Oh, speaking,
right?
I love pizza.
Who doesn't love pizza? Come on.
Right. Like,
I mean,
are you even a human being if you don't like pizza?
Exactly. If you don't like it, I'm sorry. I can't bother with it.
Right.
We still love you, but we might,
Yeah, we still love
not,
you.
but
Yeah, the love is gonna be a little bit different for
yes.
you.
Thank you so much, Martice. I can't
You're
wait for
welcome.
your video. And thanks for being part of Creative Jumpstart 2021.
Thank you so much.